You are seated comfortably now, inside a softly lit Victorian railway carriage, as the train moves steadily through the night. The gentle rocking beneath you is slow and predictable, a motion that feels almost familiar, as if your body has known this rhythm for a very long time. The seat is upholstered in deep velvet, worn smooth by countless travelers before you, its fabric warm and reassuring against your back. A small brass oil lamp rests on the wooden table beside you, its flame steady, casting a golden glow that dances quietly across the compartment. The light reveals polished wood panels, their surfaces darkened with age, each one carrying the silent memory of another journey, another quiet night, another passenger slowly drifting into rest. Outside the large window, rain slides gently down the glass in thin, winding paths, each droplet catching the lamplight for just a moment before disappearing into the darkness below. Beyond the glass, the English countryside unfolds in shadow in the mist, rolling hills barely visible beneath low clouds, their shapes softened by rain and distance. There is no need to focus too closely on what lies outside. It is enough to know it is there, moving past you slowly, patiently, without urgency. The train's wheels meet the rails with a calm, repeating sound, a steady rhythm, metal against metal, not sharp, not loud, just consistent. Each gentle clatter seems to arrive exactly when expected, creating a quiet pattern that your mind does not need to solve, only to accept. You may notice your breathing beginning to slow, matching the pace of the carriage, the soft sway, the measured movement forward. The air inside the compartment is warm and still, carrying the faint scent of polished wood, aged leather, and rain drifting in through unseen cracks. On the table, near the lamp, rests an old leather-bound journal. Its pages are yellowed, edges softened by time, as though they have been turned slowly, carefully, over many long evenings. Beside it lies a pocket watch, its silver casing cool and smooth, ticking quietly, unconcerned with hurry or delay. Time feels different here, slower, less demanding. There is nowhere you need to be, and nothing you need to do, except remain where you are, allowing the train to carry you onward. As the carriage continues its journey, the rain outside grows slightly heavier, tapping gently against the glass in a soft, irregular pattern. Each drop arrives without intention, without expectation, simply falling where it may. The sound blends effortlessly with the rhythm of the rails, layer upon layer of gentle noise, forming a calm, continuous backdrop. Your eyes may feel heavy now, drawn toward the warm pool of light from the lamp, where shadows move slowly along the walls, stretching and shrinking with the motion of the train. There is comfort in this enclosed space, in the knowledge that the world outside is distant and unreachable for now. Here, within these wooden walls, you're safe, undisturbed, and free to rest. The train does not rush, does not slow. It simply continues, steady and reliable, through the darkened landscape. And as it does, your thoughts may begin to soften, loosening their grip, drifting like mist across the hills beyond the window. There is no need to follow any one thought. They can come and go as they please, just as the scenery does, quietly passing by. The gentle rocking continues left and right, forward and onward, a motion that invites stillness. And in this stillness, you may find it easier to let go, to sink deeper into the seat, supported and at ease. The night stretches ahead, long and unbroken, and the train will continue its journey without interruption. For now, you remain here, wrapped in warmth, accompanied by rain, by rhythm, and by the quiet promise of rest. And the train continues forward, steady and unhurried, as though it has all the time in the world. The gentle motion beneath you remains unchanged, a slow, reassuring sway, rocking the carriage from side to side, again and again, without variation. Each movement feels familiar now, predictable in the best possible way, requiring no attention, no effort. The rain outside keeps falling, its sound soft and constant, a quiet conversation between water and glass that never asks to be understood. Droplets gather along the window, merging slowly, sliding downward in unplanned paths, leaving faint trails that disappear as quickly as they form and beyond the glass. The countryside continues to pass in darkness, fields and hedgerows blending into one another, their edges softened by mist and distance. You do not need to imagine them clearly. It is enough to sense their presence, to know they are there, moving past you at the same calm pace as your thoughts. The lamp beside you burns steadily, its light unchanged, its warmth constant, casting long shadows that stretch and retreat with the rhythm of the carriage. The wooden panels seem to breathe gently, expanding and contracting with the night air, their polished surfaces reflecting the lamplight in slow, muted glimmers. The journal on the table remains open, its pages unmoving, words resting quietly on paper, unread and unhurried. There is no expectation to turn the page, no need to follow a story, no requirement to remember anything at all. A pocket watch continues its quiet ticking, each second passing without urgency, without announcement, marking time in the softest possible way. Time feels wide here, stretched and forgiven, allowing moments to settle fully before giving way to the next. Your breathing follows the same pattern now, slow and uneven, rising and falling in gentle waves that require no conscious control. And as the train moves onward, sounds around you begin to blend together. Rain, rail, motion, light, all merging into a single, continuous presence. There are no sharp edges in this soundscape, nothing that interrupts, nothing that demands attention, only the steady reassurance of movement, carrying you forward, carrying you gently through the night. And if a thought drifts into your mind, it arrives softly, without force, and leaves just as quietly, slipping away like the scenery beyond the window. You do not need to hold on to it. You do not need to follow it. The train will continue regardless. The night outside feels vast and endless, stretching far beyond the reach of the lamplight, calm and unbroken, waiting patiently as the journey unfolds. The sea supports you fully now, its shape familiar, its warmth steady, as though it has always been there for you. There is nothing to adjust, nothing to improve, nothing to change, and the carriage remains wrapped in stillness, protected from the wind and rain, moving smoothly along the rails toward destinations that do not require your concern. For now, you remain exactly where you are meant to be, listening, resting, allowing the gentle rhythm to continue. When the train carries on through the night, unchanging in its pace, unchallenged by the weather, unbothered by distance, the rain keeps its gentle pattern, sometimes lighter, sometimes a little heavier, but never enough to disturb the calm. It simply exists as part of the journey, as natural as the motion beneath you. and the window grows slightly cooler to the touch, the glass holding the night at bay, allowing you to remain wrapped in warmth and quiet. The curtain beside the window hangs loosely, its fabric heavy and still, moving only when the carriage sways, then settling again without sound. Nothing inside this space asks for attention. Everything is exactly as it should be, and the rhythm of the rails becomes more familiar still, so familiar that it no longer registers as sound, but as presence, a steady companion traveling alongside you. Your body understands this rhythm now, recognizing its predictability, responding with ease. Muscles soften, shoulders rest, the weight of the day slips away, and the lamp's glow seems softer than before, its edges less defined, as if the light itself is growing tired, content to simply illuminate what is nearby. Shadows blur gently along the walls, their movement slow and unimportant, offering nothing new, nothing unexpected. The journal remains open, its pages untouched, its story unspoken. It does not matter what is written there. It never did. And the pocket watch continues marking time, not for schedules, not for arrivals, but simply because it always has. Each tick blends seamlessly into the next, a sound so small and regular that it fades into the background of awareness. Time here does not press forward, it drifts, and outside, the countryside dissolves further into darkness, its shapes becoming impressions rather than images, suggestions of hills and fields rather than details to observe. There is nothing to follow with your eyes now, nothing to track, nothing to hold. The night offers only motion, and motion offers only calm. And the carriage continues to sway, left and right, forward and onward, a motion that asks nothing in return. Breathing deepens naturally, finding a slow, comfortable rhythm, one that does not need to be guided, only allowed. In this moment, effort fades away. There is no need to listen closely, no need to remember. The sound of rain, the sound of rails, the soft glow of lamplight, all remain whether you notice them or not. The journey stretches on, quiet and uninterrupted, carrying you gently through the long hours of the night. You do not need to know where the train is going. It is enough to know that it is going there for you. And as everything continues, the motion, the rain, the warmth, the steady passage of time, you are free to let go, to drift, to rest more deeply with each passing moment. The sound of the train becomes softer somehow, not because it fades, but because it no longer stands apart from the silence around it. It is simply there, woven into the quiet, a steady thread running through the night, and the carriage seems to settle even more, as if it too has relaxed into the journey, accepting the rails beneath it without question or resistance. The gentle sway continues, unchanged, uninterrupted, a motion that no longer needs to be noticed, to be felt. The rain keeps falling in the same patient way, never hurried, never forceful, each drop arriving exactly as it should, and the glass of the window blurs the outside world completely now, turning distance into softness, and movement into suggestion. Whatever lies beyond the train no longer asks to be seen. Inside, everything remains familiar. The lamp's flame stays calm, its light warm and even, resting on the wood, resting on the pages of the journal, resting on the quiet space around you. And the shadows it casts no longer shift much at all, as though they have found their place and decided to remain there. Nothing changes quickly here. Nothing needs to, and your breathing follows the same gentle pattern, slow and unforced, rising and falling in a way that feels natural and easy. Each breath arrives, stays briefly, and then leaves again, making room for the next. There is no need to count them, no need to guide them. They know what to do, and the soundscape around you becomes simpler. Rain and rail blending into a single, continuous presence, a quiet layer of sound that holds everything else in place. There are no gaps in it, no sharp edges, only consistency. The train continues forward, carrying not just the carriage, but the moment itself, and the feeling of time grows less distinct. Minutes stretching gently, then dissolving into one another. It becomes difficult to say how long you have been here. That is perfectly fine. Time has no importance on this journey, and the sea supports you without effort. Its shape known to you now is comfort unquestioned. There is nothing to adjust, nothing to check. Everything has already settled, and the night outside remains vast and unchanging, holding the train within it, allowing it to pass without interruption or demand. The journey continues quietly, steadily, exactly as it has been, and you remain here, safe within the carriage, free to drift further with each gentle movement of the rails, and the train moves on exactly as it has been, without pause, without change. The rails beneath you remain steady, their presence felt more than heard now, a quiet foundation carrying the carriage forward, and the rain settles into a softer rhythm, no longer individual drops, but a continuous, gentle layer of sound resting against the window. It does not ask to be noticed, it simply remains. The glass stays cool and smooth, holding the night outside, keeping the warmth close to you. The curtain hangs unmoving, its heavy fabric relaxed, no longer responding to every sway, as if it too has found stillness inside the carriage. Nothing shifts suddenly, nothing interrupts the calm, and the lamp's light continues to glow, steady and familiar, no brighter, no dimmer, just enough to soften the darkness around you. Its warmth reaches the edges of the table, touches the open journal, rests quietly on the worn wood, and the journal remains where it is, pages open, words waiting without urgency. There is no need to read them. There never was. They are content to remain unread, and the pocket watch ticks on, each sound blending into the next, a rhythm so gentle that it becomes part of the silence itself. Seconds lose their meaning here. They pass, but they do not matter, and your breathing remains slow and even, unforced, natural, moving in a rhythm that feels deeply familiar. Each breath flows easily into the next, without effort, without thought. Your body knows how to rest, and the sway of the carriage continues left and right, forward and onward, a motion that requires nothing from you. You're carried completely. There is no need to participate, and the world outside the window remains distant, its shapes softened beyond recognition, its presence reduced to motion and sound. Nothing there calls to you, nothing asks for attention, and the night stretches on, wide and unbroken, allowing the train to pass through it without resistance. The journey continues exactly as it has, quiet and reliable, and you remain here, supported, undisturbed, free to sink deeper with each passing moment. and the train continues its passage through the night, moving with the same unchanging patience, as though it has traveled this route countless times before, knowing every curve of the rail, every gentle rise and fall of the land beneath it. The motion is no longer something you notice distinctly, but something you exist within, a slow, continuous presence that carries both the carriage and your awareness forward together, and the rain against the window becomes more diffuse, its individual drops blending into a soft, uninterrupted texture of sound, like a veil drawn gently between you and the world beyond the glass. It is not loud, not insistent, only persistent, in the calmest possible way, remaining exactly as it is from one moment to the next. The window itself feels distant now, no longer something to look through, but simply a boundary that allows the outside world to remain outside, and inside the carriage, the air seems to settle even further, holding a quiet warmth that wraps around you without weight or pressure. The upholstered seat supports you completely, its shape familiar enough that your body no longer adjusts against it, no longer searches for a more comfortable position. Everything has already found its place. There is nothing left to shift or improve, and the lamp continues to glow beside you, its flame steady and unwavering, casting a soft halo of light that does not reach far but reaches far enough. It illuminates the edges of the table, the grain of the wood, the faint texture of the journal's pages, without demanding that any of it be examined closely. The light is content to simply exist and to allow everything else to exist with it. And the journal itself remains open, its presence quiet and unobtrusive, as though it understands that this is not a time for reading, not a time for remembering, not a time for learning anything new. Its pages rest calmly, holding their words without urgency, without expectation. They will wait as long as they need to, and the pocket watch beside it continues its gentle ticking, a sound so regular and unchanging that it no longer marks time in any meaningful way. Each second passes into the next without distinction, without importance. Time stretches, softens, and slowly begins to lose its shape, and your breathing follows this same pattern, deepening naturally, lengthening without effort, as though each breath is given all the space it needs before quietly giving way to the next. There is no pause between them that needs to be noticed, no rhythm that needs to be followed consciously. Breathing simply continues, steady and unremarkable, and the gentle sway of the carriage persists, a slow, repetitive motion that offers reassurance without ever asking for attention. Left and right, forward and onward, the movement remains unchanged, constant enough that it becomes part of the background of awareness. You are not moving with the train, you are being carried by it, and the night outside feels vast and distant, its presence suggested only by the darkness beyond the glass and the rain that continues to fall steadily within it. There is no need to imagine what lies out there now, no reason to form images or stories. The outside world has already done its part by receding into quiet obscurity, and within the carriage everything remains calm, undisturbed, and exactly as it has been for some time now. The journey continues, unhurried and uninterrupted, and you remain where you are, free to sink further into rest as the hours of the night stretch gently ahead, and the train maintains its steady course through the night, moving forward with a quiet confidence that never wavers, as though the rails themselves are guiding it gently onward, requiring no effort, no correction, no awareness of distance or destination. The motion beneath you feels completely integrated now, no longer separate from your own stillness, but part of a single, continuous experience that carries you without interruption. And the rain continues to rest against the window. It sounds smooth and layered, like a soft curtain drawn between this warm interior and the cool darkness outside. There are no sudden changes in its rhythm, no moments that stand out, only a calm persistence that remains the same from one breath to the next. The glass holds this sound gently, allowing it to exist without letting it intrude, and inside the carriage, the air feels settled and complete, as though it has reached a perfect balance between warmth and stillness. The sea supports you effortlessly, its contours so familiar now that your body no longer registers their presence, only the sense of being fully held. There is nothing left to relax. Everything already has, and the lamp's light continues to glow in its small, steady pool, unchanged and unchanging, casting its gentle warmth across the wood and fabric nearby. The edges of the light blur softly in the shadow, creating no sharp contrasts, no areas that call for focus or attention. Light and darkness exist together here, comfortably and without tension, and the journey remains open on the table, its pages resting quietly beneath the lamplight, their surface textured and calm, as though they have been waiting patiently for this exact stillness. They offer no story that needs to be followed, no ideas that need to be held. They are simply present, and the pocket watch continues its slow, even ticking, a sound so subtle that it blends seamlessly into the space around it. Each tick dissolves into the next, marking nothing in particular, measuring no urgency, allowing time to pass without significance. Minutes stretch gently, then fade into one another, losing their boundaries, and your breathing follows this same unhurried pattern, deep and even, each inhale arriving with ease, each exhale leaving just as quietly. There is no effort in it now, no awareness of pace, only the sense of breath continuing as naturally as the movement of the train. You do not need to guide it. It knows its way, and the gentle sway of the carriage persists, left and right, forward and onward, never changing its rhythm, never asking to be noticed. This motion feels endlessly reliable, a quiet assurance that nothing unexpected will occur. You are free to remain still within it, and the night outside has become little more than a presence, its vastness implied rather than seen, its existence confirmed only by the rain and the darkness beyond the glass. There is no reason to imagine it clearly now. It can remain undefined, and the journey continues without interruption, carrying you steadily through the long stretch of night, while everything inside the carriage remains calm, consistent, and gently unchanged. You are exactly where you need to be, and there is nothing required of you as the train moves quietly onward, and the train keeps moving forward through the night with the same patient steadiness, as though it has settled into a rhythm that will not change, a rhythm that requires nothing from you and offers only continuity in return. The rails beneath the carriage remain perfectly predictable, each gentle vibration arriving exactly as expected, blending seamlessly into the next until individual moments are no longer distinct, only part of a single, extended motion that carries everything along. The rain against the window no longer feels like something happening, but like something that has always been there, a constant presence, resting quietly against the glass, softening the boundary between sound and silence. Its texture remains smooth and uninterrupted, without sudden shifts, without anything that might pull your attention outward. The rain simply continues, content to remain exactly as it is, and inside the carriage, the stillness deepens further, settling into the space with a gentle certainty that nothing will disturb it. The upholstered seat holds you completely now, its support so familiar that your body has stopped responding to it consciously, resting instead in a state of quiet acceptance. There is no need to adjust, no need to shift. Comfort has already been found, and the lamp beside you continues to cast its warm, steady glow, its light soft enough to blur the edges of everything it touches, yet present enough to keep the darkness gentle and reassuring. The flame does not flicker or waver, remaining calm and even, as though it too has settled into the night and sees no reason to change. Light and shadow exist together without contrast or tension, each allowing the other to remain, and the journal on the table rests open and undisturbed, its pages lying flat beneath the lamplight, their surface marked by time but untouched in this moment. There is no story waiting to be read, no information waiting to be absorbed. The journal's purpose now is simply to exist as part of the scene, quiet and unimportant, and the pocket watch continues its gentle ticking, sound so subtle and regular that it no longer seems to measure time at all, but rather confirms its absence. Seconds dissolve into one another, then fade completely, leaving behind only a sense of duration without definition. Time stretches, loosens, and becomes irrelevant, and your breathing remains slow and unforced, each breath flowing naturally into the next without pause or effort. There is no beginning to an inhale, no end to an exhale, only a smooth, continuous cycle that requires no awareness. Breathing simply happens, steady and reliable, like the movement of the train itself, and the gentle sway of the carriage continues unbroken, left and right, forward and onward, its motion so consistent that it feels less like movement and more like stillness carried gently through space. You're not moving within the carriage. You are being moved, and the night outside remains distant and undefined, its vastness suggested only by darkness and rain, its presence felt without needing to be imagined. There's nothing out there that requires your attention now. The world beyond the window has already faded away, and the journey continues quietly, without interruption, without variation, carrying you forward through the long hours of the night, while everything inside the carriage remains calm, steady, and exactly the same. You remain where you are, supported and undisturbed, free to drift further as the train continues on its unhurried path. And the train continues its quiet passage through the night, moving with a steadiness that now feels timeless, as though it has always been in motion and always will be, gliding along the rails without beginning or end. The movement beneath you is so familiar now that it no longer registers as a motion at all, only as a gentle, continuous support, carrying you forward without asking anything in return, and the rain against the window maintains its soft, even presence, a delicate, layered sound that no longer changes or surprises, resting against the glass like a steady breath, shored between the night and the carriage. There is no need to listen closely to it now. It will continue whether you notice it or not. The rain does not depend on attention. And inside the compartment, the air feels settled in a way that suggests nothing new will happen, nothing will change, and nothing needs to. Warmth lingers gently, not heavy, not enclosing, just present enough to allow you to rest within it completely. Your body remains fully supported by the seat, its comfort now so familiar that it feels almost invisible, as though you are resting without contact, held effortlessly in place. There is no pressure anywhere, no tension remains. The lamp beside you continues to glow softly, is light, steady, and forgiving, illuminating only what is nearby and allowing everything else to remain quietly undefined. The flame does not demand attention. It does not flicker or flare. It simply exists, as calm and unchanging as the night itself, and the journal on the table remains open, its pages still impatient, holding their contents without urgency or expectation. Whatever words rest there have long since released their need to be read. They are content to remain exactly as they are, and the pocket watch continues its gentle ticking, each sound dissolving immediately into the quiet around it, leaving no trace, no sense of passing moments. Time no longer feels like a sequence here. It feels like a wide, open space, stretching quietly in all directions, without markers or limits, and your breathing continues at its own unhurried pace, deep and even, each breath flowing naturally into the next without pause or effort. There is no awareness of inhaling or exhaling now, only the calm continuity of breath raising and falling on its own. Your body knows exactly what to do, and the gentle sway of the carriage persists, left and right, forward and onward, its rhythm so consistent that it feels like a lullaby without melody, a motion that soothes simply by continuing. You do not need to follow it. It will carry you regardless, and the night beyond the window remains distant and indistinct, its presence suggested only by darkness and rain, no longer forming images or ideas. The outside world has softened completely, its details dissolving into quiet obscurity. Nothing there requires your attention anymore, and the journey continues on and on, unchanging, uninterrupted, moving steadily through the long hours of the night, while everything inside the carriage remains calm, predictable, and deeply reassuring. You remain where you are, supported and undisturbed, free to drift further as the train continues its gentle, endless motion. And the train continues forward in exactly the same way it has for some time now, with no change in its pace, no change in its sound, and no reason for anything to be different. The motion beneath you feels endless and uninterrupted, as though the carriage is no longer traveling through distance, but simply remaining within movement itself, held there gently and without effort. And the rain against the window has become almost indistinguishable from the quiet, its sound softened into a continuous presence that rests lightly against the edges of awareness. It no longer feels separate from the night, or from the carriage, or from the calm that surrounds you. It is simply part of everything now, and inside the compartment, the air feels settled in a deep and lasting way, as though it has reached a point where nothing further can happen, and nothing further is required. Warmth remains steady and unobtrusive, allowing you to remain completely at ease without needing to notice it. Your body stays fully supported, so familiar with this position that it feels almost weightless, as though effort itself has gently stepped aside. There is no tension left to release. Everything has already softened, and the lamp beside you continues to glow quietly, its light now more of a suggestion than a presence, resting softly on the wood and fabric nearby without drawing the eye or the mind toward it. The flame does not flicker, it does not change, it simply remains, and the journal on the table no longer feels like an object at all, but like part of the stillness of the space, its pages resting quietly, their contents no longer relevant to this moment of rest. The pocket watch, too, continues its gentle ticking, though the sound feels distant now, as though it belongs to another place, another time, far removed from the calm of this carriage. Time itself feels far away, and your breathing remains slow and natural, flowing without effort, each breath blending seamlessly into the next until there is no clear beginning or end. Breathing happens on its own, steady and unremarkable, requiring nothing from you. You do not need to follow it. It will continue regardless, and the gentle sway of the carriage persists, its rhythm unchanged, its motion so consistent that it feels less like a movement and more like a quiet, continuous support. Left and right, forward and onward, the motion remains the same, offering reassurance simply by continuing. You are carried completely, and the night outside has softened into nothing more than darkness and rain, its vastness implied rather than imagined, its details no longer forming pictures or thoughts. There is nothing beyond the window that requires your attention now. The outside world has fully receded, and the journey continues without interruption, quiet and predictable, moving steadily through the night, while everything inside the carriage remains calm, unchallenging, and gently reassuring. You remain exactly where you are, supported, undisturbed, and free to drift even further as the train continues its endless, quiet motion. And the train continues on in exactly the same way, without needing to be followed, without needing to be noticed, moving steadily through the night as it always has. The motion beneath the carriage feels so constant now that it no longer suggests travel at all, only a quiet, continuous presence that remains gently in the background, and the rain against the window has softened into a distant texture, no longer distinct as sound, but resting quietly within the silence itself, as though it has always been there and always will be. There is no need to listen for it. It will continue to without attention. It asks nothing, and inside the compartment, everything feels settled in a final, unchanging way, as though the space has reached a point of complete rest, where nothing further can shift, and nothing further needs to. Warmth remains gently present, not as a sensation to notice, but as an absence of discomfort, allowing stillness to deepen naturally. The body rests without effort now, supported without awareness, held without any sense of weight. There is nothing left to release, and the lamp's glow feels faint and distant, no longer something to look at, but simply a soft presence that allows the darkness to remain calm and unthreatening. Light and shadow no longer feel separate. They exist together quietly, and the journal on the table has become indistinct, its pages no longer forming shapes or meaning, its presence fading gently into the stillness of the space. The pocket watch, too, continues somewhere nearby, though its sound feels far away now, as though time itself has stepped back and left the moment undisturbed. Time is no longer something that passes. It simply rests, and breathing continues on its own, slow and unforced, without rhythm that needs to be noticed, without pace that needs to be followed. Each breath arrives, lingers briefly, and then fades away again, making room for the next without effort or awareness. Breathing happens without thought, and the gentle sway of the carriage persists in the background, steady and unchanging, no longer felt as motion, but as a quiet assurance that everything remains exactly as it should be. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to wait for, and the night beyond the window has softened completely, its darkness and rain blending into a single, distant presence that no longer forms images, no longer suggests movement or space. The outside world has fully dissolved into quiet, and the journey continues quietly and without interruption, moving forward without needing to arrive anywhere, while everything inside the carriage remains calm, unchanging, and deeply at rest. There is no need to remain aware of the train now. It will continue on its own, and the train continues quietly, without asking to be followed, without asking to be noticed, moving on in the same gentle way as the night stretches calmly around it. The motion beneath the carriage feels distant now, no longer something to be sensed clearly, only a soft, continuing presence that remains somewhere in the background without drawing attention, and the rain against the window has softened completely, its sound blending into the silence so fully that it is no longer easy to tell where one ends and the other begins. It does not matter, both remain, and inside the compartment everything feels settled beyond change, as though the space itself has grown quiet and still, content to remain exactly as it is for as long as the night allows. Warmth lingers gently, not as something to feel, but as something that simply exists, supporting rest without effort. The body remains relaxed, held without awareness, resting without intention. There is nothing left to do, and the light from the lamp feels very faint now, no longer illuminating objects, only allowing darkness to remain soft and calm. Shapes dissolve into suggestion, and suggestion fades into quiet. Nothing needs to be seen, and the journal, the watch, the table, the window, all settle fully into stillness, their presence no longer distinct, their details no longer forming thoughts. They can remain where they are, unnoticed and unimportant, and breathing continues gently on its own, slow and natural, each breath rising and falling without effort, without awareness. There is no rhythm to follow now, no pace to notice. Breathing simply continues. The gentle sway of the carriage remains somewhere far away, steady and unchanging, no longer felt as movement, but as a quiet reassurance that nothing will interrupt this calm. The train will continue. It does not need you to listen. And the night beyond the window remains wide and undisturbed, holding rain and darkness together in a single, distant presence that no longer forms images or thoughts. Everything has softened, everything has slowed, and the journey carries on quietly, without arrival, without destination, while awareness itself is free to fade, to loosen, and to rest. You do not need to stay with the story now. It can drift away on its own, and the train continues on its way, quietly and without effort, moving through the night on its own, without needing to be followed any longer. The sounds around you remain steady, unchanging, calm enough to fade gently into the background, where they can continue without attention, and the rain rests softly against the window, no longer something to notice, only something that remains, layered into the quiet of the night. There is nothing left to listen for now. Everything will continue by itself, and the warmth of the carriage stays with you, light and unobtrusive, supporting rest without sensation, allowing stillness to deepen naturally. Breathing continues, slow and effortless, without awareness, without intention. It does not need guidance, and the gentle motion of the train remains somewhere far away, steady and reassuring, a distant rhythm that no longer asks to be felt. The journey carries on, and you do not need to remain with it. You are free to rest. You are free to drift. Everything else will continue quietly on its own